Part 87. Yi Yang have been canonized as the imperial concubine of the West Palace. Yi Yang slept until lunch and got up at noon. After putting on his clothes, he slowly went to the dining room and looked at the table full of light food. Yi Yang feels that he was really tired of eating. I really miss chili. And I don't know if Chu Xinghong has found chili in other continents. Speaking of Chu Xinghong, Yi Yang missed it very much. You must know that Chu Xinghong has been going to other continents for more than 2 months, and he doesn't know when he will be able to return. Instead, he thought that Chu Xinghong had left the Jinghe kingdom with the army. If he came back and happened to encounter a war between the two countries, he would be captured by the Jinghe kingdom. Now I just hope that Chu Xinghong can come back later, preferably after Jinghe kingdom has been captured. Hey, it's fine now anyway, why don't you let Jin Yuxian try to develop gunpowder? If you get gunpowder out, are you afraid that you won't be able to attack Jinghe kingdom? Hey, why didn't I think of such an important thing before? Alas, the code word is wrong. The code word is wrong. He turned his head and said to Xiao Anzi, who was waiting beside him, Xiao Anzi, go to Xingsheng Palace and ask Jin Yuxian to come over. I have something to explain to him. After this period of cultivation, Xiao Anzi's complexion has obviously improved a lot, especially when several eunuchs saw that he was too thin. They always left delicious food for him to eat. He happily responded and ran out of the dining room to Xingsheng Palace. At this time, Xiao Doubting also rushed into the dining room with a happy face. With an unstoppable smile on his face, Yi Yang looked confused. What's the matter, you are so happy? Congratulations, young master. Xiao Doubting's face was full of joy, as if he had won the first prize. Congratulations? Young master, congratulations. Xiao Doubting was full of joy. He never thought that his own young master could also take the position of the imperial concubine. Yi Yang's face is full of doubts. He doesn't seem to have done anything recently. Is there no reward? The only thing worthy of congratulations seems to be that Chu Xinghong found the crops. Thinking of chili, he also became interested, and asked excitedly, could it be that Master Chu is back? Xiao Doubting was puzzled by the question. Why did his young master suddenly mention Lord Chu? Seeing his confused expression, Yi Yang followed suit. Isn't it? Well, congratulations, he thought Chu Xinghong came back with crops. No, no. Xiao Doubting shook his head again and turned excitedly. Young master, this morning, the emperor announced the canonization ceremony in the early morning. You have been canonized as the imperial concubine of the West Palace. Ah? Yi Yang startled. Why me? Yi Yang wailed. Did I make a mistake? Why was he canonized as the imperial concubine? As a slacker, he doesn't want to have a meeting with a group of dissatisfied concubines every morning. He doesn't want to be an imperial concubine. He doesn't want to hold morning meetings every morning. Why doesn't my concubine Yi seem happy? Jun Yi's voice came from behind him. Yi Yang turned back quickly, looked at Jun Yi who was walking into the dining room, showed a bitter face, and begged, Your Majesty, why don't you discuss such a big matter with me? Why do you want to discuss it? Jun Yi asked, and walking to the cook table was beside the dining table. So he picked up Yi Yang's tableware and started eating. Xiao Doubting was very discerning, and when he saw Jun Yi coming in, he hurried out of the dining room and went to the kitchen to get the dishes. Why not discuss it? Why can't you talk to him about such an important matter? You know, he, a late-stage lazy cancer patient, really doesn't want to have a morning meeting every morning. After all, as a concubine, you can take advantage of your physical discomfort without going to say hello, but the imperial concubine is different. He has to get up early every morning, and then wait for the concubines to come to say hello to him. Jun Yi leaned his head to Yi Yang's ear and asked softly, "Concubine Yi seems to have forgotten. Who took my imperial concubine out of the palace?" "Your Majesty, didn't I say that at the time? I will give you back an imperial concubine?" "Your imperial concubine?" Yi Yang was speechless. Can he not talk about this matter? After all, he doesn't care about this matter. "So, you have paid it back?" Compared with Yi Yang, there is no one in the palace who is more suitable for the position of the imperial concubine. After all, Yi Yang's contribution is too great, and his strength is perfect to crush the West Palace. No. It should be all the concubines in the entire harem. If it wasn't for Yi Yang to be the imperial concubine, then no one would be worthy of the imperial concubine position. But I don't want to be an imperial concubine. Yi Yang really didn't want to be such a busy imperial concubine. He thought it was good to be a little concubine. How cool. Xiao Doubting, who brought the bowls and chopsticks in, happened to hear Yi Yang's words, and was so anxious to shake Yi Yang up. This is the imperial concubine, the highest position in the West Palace. The position that all the concubines in the West Palace covet. Why don't you care about it when you are old? Jun Yi knew for a long time that Yi Yang would reject the position of the imperial concubine, so he directly chose to be executed first and then to file. Now that the decree has been promulgated, even if Yi Yang has thousands of people who are unwilling, he has to be his imperial concubine obediently. "Your Majesty, can you change someone to be the imperial concubine?" Yi Yang begged with a look on his face. "What do you think?" Jun Yi glanced at Yi Yang with a depressed face, then stopped paying attention to Yi Yang and ate lunch. "I was also a little annoyed in my heart. Others couldn't ask for the position of the imperial concubine. Yi Yang was good, but what he got was not rare at all. Does he really not care about the power that people want when they break their head?" Yi Yang also knew that it was impossible, so he finished lunch with a gloomy face. Later, he was not in the mood, and even when Jin Yuxian came, he also had a sullen expression. "Master, what's the matter with you?" Jin Yuxian saw Yi Yang's dull expression. He glanced at Jun Yi, who had a normal expression and was sitting behind the desk to handle government affairs. He wondered why Yi Yang was angry again. "It's nothing." Yi Yang shook his head, but asked what Jin Yuxian was busy with recently. "What about you? What are you busy with recently?" Being teased by the emperor, Jin Yuxian felt a little embarrassed. He scratched his head and said, "I was thinking about giving Master a surprise. So I won't talk about it for now, leaving some suspense." Yi Yang didn't ask any further, but said that he called him this time, the purpose of coming, Jin Yuxian. "Do you remember the potassium nitrate I said before?" Remember, this potassium nitrate refers to potassium nitrate. The composition can be regarded as containing 13.8% nitrogen and 46.6% potassium oxide, commonly known as fire or earth. Jin Yuxian smiled mysteriously. "This is a secret. I'll give Master a surprise when I'm done." "You've even sold crown." Jun Yi joked aside. "As an invisible scholar, money and money come as soon as you open your mouth." "Then how to make this potassium nitrate?" Yi Yang began to ask whether he remembered. "It is not difficult to make, so Jin Yuxian replied confidently. "To make potassium nitrate, plant ash and nitrate can be used as raw materials. After the organic matter in the soil is putrefied, nitric acid is formed by the action of nitrate bacteria and nitrous bacteria. Nitrates combine with sodium, potassium, magnesium and other ions in the soil to form nitrates. Nitrates generally exist in pigs, toilets, cattle stalls, old walls in courtyards, caves, cliffs, and the ground that is not easily washed by rainwater. It is not easy to dry, and it turns purple-red after being exposed to the sun. The main principle of extracting potassium nitrate from nitrate is to use potassium ions in plant ash to replace sodium ions in nitrate to generate potassium nitrate. Yi Yang is actually very admired. Jin Yukchin's memory. He casually talked about what this potassium nitrate is and how to make it before. Who would have thought that this product could be remembered so perfectly? He really is an incredible scholar. He can't forget it. His ability. If he had such a good memory in the past, he would have become the most powerful college professor of his time. Forget it, saying that these are empty talk. It is still important to do business now, so he smiled and said, "Since you know this potassium nitrate, then I will arrange things for you. During this time, you go to the Ministry of Industry and ask Master Lu to cooperate with you and make more productions for some potassium nitrate." Okay, Jin Yuxian nodded in response, and then asked curiously, "Master, why do you need so much potassium nitrate all of a sudden?" "This potassium nitrate has many uses, and you can make it first. I'll tell you later." Yi Yang also learned how to be played with Jin Yuxian and sold crown like him. This potassium nitrate can not only make black powder, but also can be used as a fertilizer to promote the absorption of nitrogen and potassium by crops, which can take root, promote the differentiation of flower buds, and increase crop yield. In a word, the more potassium nitrate, the better. If the potassium nitrate cannot be used up, it will be sold as fertilizer to benefit the people. In the afternoon, all the concubines in the West Palace sent all kinds of precious gifts. And the flattery was very obvious. In particular, concubine Ling, who used to be very unpleasant to him in the past, also brought gifts in person today, but the smile on his face was too fake, which made Yi Yang's heart tremble. Congratulations to brother concubine Yi, who flew up to the branch. Concubine Ling's eyes showed a strong jealousy. And the person who had entered the palace together at the beginning had now climbed onto his head again. Yi Yang was stared at by the jealousy in concubine Ling's eyes, and his hair stood on end. So he said that he was not suitable for this position, because when he saw concubine Ling, he was horrified. I hope brother concubine Ling will give more advice in the future. Yi Yang tried his best to make the smile on his face more natural. But his polite smile turned into a show-off in concubine Ling's eyes. I don't dare to give advice. I just hope that brother imperial concubine will persuade the emperor to soak up the rain and dew. Concubine Ling showed a smirking smile, which made Yi Yang's heart tremble even more. How could he forget this? That's right, if he takes the position of the imperial concubine, can't he persuade the emperor to soak up the rain and dew every day? Holy crap. This horse riding is really enough. For some reason, as long as he thought of Jun Yi looking for other concubines, he felt very uncomfortable. This may be a common problem of men. He thinks of 3 wives and 4 concubines, but asks his lover to be loyal to him, so this feeling makes him extremely angry. Before, he could still rely on himself as a small concubine and didn't need to advise the emperor. But now that he is in the position of the imperial concubine, it is different. As the head of the West Palace, he has the responsibility to persuade the emperor to soak up the rain and dew. Seeing Yi Yang's constipated expression, concubine Ling felt much better. He said goodbye and left, leaving Yi Yang alone to petrify in the wind. But now that the imperial decree has been issued, even Yi Yang can't change this matter. So he has to bite the bullet and take the position of the imperial concubine. On the day of the canonization day, Yi Yang was dressed in dark purple and complicated clothes, and completed every complicated link under the guidance of the introductory officer, and finally completed all the etiquette before the sky darkened. Exhausted from exhaustion, he returned to Shin Si Palace, flung his shoes off his feet, and hurriedly looked for a room with bare feet. Young master, the ushers haven't gone far. If the ushers see you like this, they will definitely impeach you before the emperor. Xiao Doubting hurriedly picked up the shoes kicked by Yi Yang and followed Yi Yang's footsteps. Go to the special ceremony officer. That bastard is playing with this lord on purpose, and this lord's feet are about to break. What about the bed? Yi Yang was also the first time to the Jinghong Hall. He opened the door in front of him and found that there was no bed inside. His temper suddenly rose, and he kicked the door with a kick. He had a grim expression in pain, and mourned while holding his feet. When Jun Yi arrived, he happened to see the funny scene of Yi Yang wailing with his feet in his arms. He hurried to Yi Yang and asked with concern, "What's wrong?" Yi Yang sat on the ground with a buttock. Looking at the already red and swollen his feet were so angry that he scolded, "This damn shit etiquette, my feet are about to break. And when I come back, I still get angry." Jun Yi squatted beside Yi Yang. Seeing his toes were red and swollen, he hurriedly asked Xiao Doubting, who was at a loss, to bring medicine over. While he stretched out his hand and rubbed Yi Yang's calf, hoping that he would feel better. Yi Yang, who was full of resentment, saw Jun Yi gently rubbing his weak and sore calf for himself. All resentment dissipated in an instant, and a hint of warmth surged in his chest, soothing all the irritability in his heart. Seeing that Yi Yang's mood was stable, Jun Yi raised his eyes to look at Yi Yang. His expression became more gentle, like the warm sun in the spring. "It's hard work, my imperial concubine." This sentence warmed Yi Yang's heart. Yes, all the fatigue has disappeared a lot. But he was depressed and couldn't help complaining. "You know it's hard work, I've never seen so many red tapes. Isn't it just the canonization of an imperial concubine? Is it necessary to make it so grand? My feet are about to break already." Don't blame him for so much resentment. It's just that the red tape of this dynasty is too cumbersome. Yi Yang started in the morning, either walking or kneeling, and his knees were broken. There's no way, this is the rule handed down by the ancestors. Jun Yi also felt sorry for Yi Yang. He stood up, bent over to pick up Yi Yang, who was sitting on the ground, and walked towards the bedroom. The rules of the ancestors are not set by people? They can be modified by people, right? Yi Yang whispered, thinking that the imperial concubine is already the highest position, and he will naturally not worry about having to face these red tapes in the future. These etiquettes matter. If he knew that in the future, he would sit in the position of queen and go through more numerous etiquettes than this, he might not think so. But this is all in the future, how could he know? Jun Yi put Yi Yang on the bed, and at this time Xiao Doubting, who went to get the pain release medicine, also came back. As soon as he opened the medicine box, Jun Yi reached out and took it. Xiao Doubting originally wanted to say that the slaves are coming, but seeing Jun Yi's tender face, his own young master was rarely arrogant, and did not want to disturb this rare warmth. Xiao Doubting exited the room very wisely. Jun Yi sat on the edge of the bed and carefully applied medicine to Yi Yang, as if he was not a foot but a valuable treasure. Seeing Jun Yi's serious expression, Yi Yang couldn't help but be stunned. It was the first time he had looked at Jun Yi so seriously. I saw that Jun Yi was outstanding in appearance and did not lose to the popular stars of his era at all. And Jun Yi's innate noble temperament is enough to kill everyone he has ever seen. Bang bang. Bang bang. The heartbeat suddenly accelerated, and Yi Yang felt a little flustered. Because he knew that he was in love with a man, it's ridiculous. After Jun Yi gave Yi Yang good medicine, he raised his eyes and saw Yi Yang's cheeks were flushing. He thought he had a fever, so he quickly reached out to probe Yi Yang's forehead. Touching the ice-cold forehead, a trace of confusion flashed in his eyes. No fever. Yi Yang quickly rubbed his face to hide the blush on his face. He retracted his feet, turned over and lay on the bed, muttering, "Your Majesty, I'm tired, so I'll go to bed first." Jun Yi knew that Yi Yang was very tired today, so he didn't stop Yi Yang from sleeping. He took off his coat and lay down beside Yi Yang. Yi Yang's body froze for a moment, but he was very tired, and he really didn't have the mood to play with Jun Yi. Just as he was about to say no, Jun Yi took the lead. "I know you are very tired today, so I won't touch you, you can rest assured. Go to sleep." Jun Yi hugged him from behind without making any excessive moves. He gently patted Yi Yang's body, as if he was coaxing a child to sleep again. With a slight smile on the corner of Yi Yang's mouth, he whispered, "Good night," and fell asleep. "Good night," Jun Yi murmured softly, imitating Yi Yang's tone.